Well, I've been painting, and as you can see, these walls have paint on them. However, if you were here, you would recognize that as much as there is paint on the walls, we would not consider this room painted. And there's a reason for that. The reason is there's only one coat of paint. And that one coat of paint, as much as it does change the color and kind of cleans up the walls a bit, because without paint, they have a tendency to look like that, which is not what you want for a finished room. Putting one coat of paint on a room doesn't really finish the job. Although it starts the job, starts it looking a lot better, it does not accomplish the task. It needs a second coat. It needs to be finished. The second coat will hide all the impurities or the imperfections that the first coat didn't cover, or in a lot of cases, that the first coat made, because it just didn't go over the paint or the wall as completely as it should. Now, a lot of people, and I've seen this, because they say, oh, it's only an apartment, they would say, that's fine, just leave it. It's somebody else's house. And the job doesn't get done. I mean, it's better than this, but it's not the way it should be. Actually, this is what this apartment looked like when we first came in. The walls were not completely painted. Why? Because they were only painted once. And it's interesting, a lot of times in our lives, we kind of look at our faith as, I've got that covered. I've done that. We're done. We're good. And the reality is the Bible doesn't say that our faith is like that. Our faith isn't something that gets to a certain point where we can say we've arrived. Because the reality is we never arrive. The only thing that we do is get closer. We get closer to the mark. We get closer to what that is that God has called us to do in the life that He's called us to have. Because a lot of times what happens is we get to this point where we say, yep, that's good enough. And then things start to fall apart. But God says, no, what you need to do is continue to work out your salvation with fear and trembling. And how does that work? Well, Peter says, add to your faith good works. And then he said, add to your good works knowledge. And he keeps it. And there's a list of the things that he keeps saying, build on from one aspect of your faith to another. But he doesn't leave. He says, once you've got that, you've accomplished it. No, he doesn't at all. What he says is that if you have these things in increasing measure, the reality is in our life, we need to continue to work. We need to continue to put the second coat, the third coat, the fourth coat, and keep painting and keep looking for the imperfections in our life and getting it finer and finer tuned. See, the people that I look to and respect and honor as mentors, as great people in the faith, aren't necessarily people who have got it all together, but people that are continuing to get it together every day. I had a buddy of mine that actually somebody asked me once, how could, is he a Christian? And he died. His name was Sammy Hajar. He was one of my best friends, and he struggled in his faith. But this is what I saw, not the fact that where he was standing was in the place where he should be, but his feet were pointed in the direction that he should be going. And his life showed increasing measure. Now, not increasing where like tenfold, it was baby steps, and a lot of baby steps. But his spiritual life was one that continued to grow as he continued to seek God and to understand God in the context that he lived. This room hasn't arrived. It's got some work to do. I'm going to put on another coat of paint and it's going to look better. But there'll be still some things that need to get done. And there's going to be times when damage is going to be done, the paint's going to get scuffed, and I'm going to have to come and repair it. And that's cool. But my life is a lot like that. I need to continue to improve. I need to continue to walk in the direction that God has called me to. I need to continue to be more of what it is that He has created me to be. And in that, I'm going to find life. In that, I'm going to find fulfillment in all good things. Because that's what God wants for me. And that's what God has for me. Hope that's been an encouragement to you today. Start on Monday morning thinking, how can I move forward in my faith? How can I build on the foundation of the things that I've learned so that I become more and more who God has created me to be. Hope that's been an encouragement to you. Blessings. Bye for now.